Today, we're going to be focusing on what you should be doing as a business to start planning for Windows and SQL Server end of support with Microsoft. In particular, we'll be focused around the versions 2008 and 2008 R2 of the products. Before I get started, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on myself. My name is Floyd Gilchrist. I've been with MicroChannel for about 7 years now, and I've been working in the IT industry for about 20 years. I currently work as part of the Solutions Architecture team based in North Sydney, Australia, and my primary focuses are around cloud technology, specifically Microsoft Azure, the technology that's within the Azure space, such as serverless technology, AI, machine learning, and much more. I also have a very long history of working with Microsoft Dynamics. I've been working with the product for about 20 years back in the early days and seen the product evolve and progress over the years to what it is today. I also have a special focus around infrastructure and SQL DBA services. MicroChannel is an award-winning technology services provider that has been in business for over 20 years now. We have offices in Australia, Asia, Sri Lanka, Fiji, and other areas of the globe. Our team has a wide range of expertise specializing across many industries, delivering to our customers an end-to-end unified experience across their business. Today's agenda, we're going to focus on a few key things when you're thinking of end of support for Microsoft products. One will be why upgrade to SQL Server 2017, which is one of the newest versions available. When is end of support for Windows Server and SQL? What does end of support mean? Why upgrade to Windows Server 2016? And options to extend support for 2008 if you're not quite ready to make that path to upgrade yet. And ultimately, how can MicroChannel help you along that journey? One key topic that is raised within management and executive levels of businesses when reviewing existing and new software and technology within your company is security. For companies with IT teams, whether you're outsourcing it or if it's in-house, security is always a top priority for those teams. New vulnerabilities are emerging all the time, and this makes it harder than ever for IT to secure data and applications. Microsoft is releasing new capabilities to help prevent attacks and detect suspicious activity with features to control that access and help protect your networks as much as possible. This leads into the one key question: why are security updates critical to my business? In 2016, there were 4.2 billion records stolen by hackers across the globe. 20% of organizations lose customers during an attack, and 30% of organizations lose revenue during an attack. Part of that is because customers lose confidence in that business when they're hit by an attack. And then the question becomes, is their data safe? Is it protected? And ultimately, that impacts you as a business if you're hit by one of those attacks. It is estimated that around $8 trillion will be the expected cost of cybercrime to the global economy by the year 2022. In May of 2018, a European privacy law known as the General Data Protection Regulation, also known as GDPR, took effect. The GDPR imposes new rules on companies and various agencies that offer goods and services to people in the EU or that collect and analyze data tied to EU residences. The GDPR is important because it applies no matter where you are located. There has been a lot of buzz even in Australia and Asia regions because there are impacts to a lot of businesses that transact with the EU. People joining today's session are most likely here because you have existing Windows servers or SQL servers in your environment that will be impacted by Microsoft's product lifecycle. When we talk about Microsoft's product lifecycle, I hopefully can answer a lot of your questions that you may have that help demystify what the product lifecycle means, how it impacts your business, and just how you can stay on top of it. When we talk about the product lifecycle, there's two phases to it. First is mainstream support, and that starts for about a period of 5 years, followed by extended support for another 5 years on average. During mainstream support, Microsoft will fully invest in the product, adding new features and enhancements to the product, and ultimately allow you to take advantage of capabilities that come available within the product, security updates, and also non-security updates, such as platform enhancements, stability, and various other improvements that may come along with it. After mainstream support ends, you roll into an extended support phase for another 5 years. During this time, Microsoft only focuses on security updates, ensuring that vulnerabilities are patched and taken care of, and also non-security updates still continuing to ensure that the platform performs for you. What does end of support mean for you as a business? Simply put, it means end of security updates. When we're looking at SQL Server 2008 and 2008 R2, time is running out. Support ends less than 5 months from now on the 9th of July of this year. When we're looking at Windows Server 2008 and 2008 R2, extended support ends in January of 2020. So both of these life cycles are coming to an end very quickly. So as a business, the biggest thing we have to look at is what you can do to plan and ensure that you stay ahead of this expiration date that's quickly approaching when it comes to support. For Windows Server 2008 and 2008 R2, that life cycle is coming up very shortly. If you're on Windows Server 2012, mainstream support has already ended as of January 2018 and is currently in the extended support phase as well. So I would highly recommend, if you're on Windows Server 2012, then you also will want to start planning for the newer platforms as well, so you can take advantage of continued enhancements under a product that's supported under mainstream support, such as Windows Server 2016, which is now available. And mainstream support is covered through January of 2021, and extended support will continue on through 2026. When we talk about Windows Server, Microsoft has been a trusted infrastructure partner for over 20 years. Every time there's been changes in the computing era, Microsoft has always been there to bring enhancements to the market as far as technology and efficiencies within the space of Windows Server and the software that they support. When we look at when NT4 came out, that was the first generation of computing that Microsoft actually enabled users to use file print and company-wide applications on a Windows-based platform. That ultimately rolled us into Windows Server 2012, which was more around the Y2K era, as many of us knew it. And then shortly after came out Windows Server 2003, which brought us the .NET framework, followed by Windows Server 2008, which was the first real data center era moving towards the cloud, offering virtualization on the operating system with Hyper-V technology, followed by Windows Server 2012, which brought us further into the cloud era by opening the door to any app on any cloud. And then now we've approached Windows Server 2016, which is supporting both goals. You can move to the cloud at a pace that works for you, and it adds a lot more added security and efficiencies within your IT systems, regardless of whether it's on-premise, in the cloud, or maybe you've got a hybrid of both. When we're looking at SQL Server 2008 and SQL Server 2008 R2, like I said, the life cycle is coming up very quickly. So it is very important to start planning if you have applications sitting on this platform where we would be moving next. SQL Server 2012 has been out of mainstream support since 2017, and extended support is going on for a few more years through 2022. And then SQL Server 2014 is currently under mainstream support, but will be ending soon as well. So you'll really want to be looking at SQL Server 2016 and 2017 as options for staying current under mainstream and extended support. Now, when we look at the evolution of SQL Server, looking all the way back from version 1.0 back in 1989, Microsoft has made multiple enhancements, many releases of the SQL Server product that extend all the way through current day. SQL Server 2000 introduced 64-bit architecture. SQL 2005 introduced XML data and ways to manage it. SQL 2008 brought in self-tuning, self-organizing, and self-maintaining with the development of always-on technology. And there's been many, many more enhancements that have come throughout the various releases. SQL Server 2017, actually one of the more recent versions, is offering industry-leading performance, end-to-end mobile BI, easy integration to the cloud, and support across other technologies that may even be outside of the Windows technology space. So when we look at end of support for Windows Server and SQL Server, the key things we need to look at are end of support simply means, as I mentioned earlier, no security updates. There will be no access to critical security updates, which can open a potential for business interruptions. If there are new vulnerabilities or security issues that may come up, there will be no updates to patch those vulnerabilities, which can ultimately lead into compliance concerns. As that support ends, your organization may fail to meet various compliancy standards and industry regulations that may apply to you. So it'll be very important to understand, if you're going out of support, what this ultimately means to your organization. And most importantly, if you're out of mainstream support, you're missing innovation opportunities, because there's a lot of things happening in the space of digital transformation, and there's a lot of ways that your business as a whole can embrace technology and have it seamlessly integrate across your entire business. And Microsoft is always investing lots of time and money to make sure that you can take advantage of that latest technology that becomes available. There are some paths to consider when you look to upgrade and stay protected. Some businesses here may not be ready to make the jump to upgrade the operating system or upgrade SQL Server, and that may be because you have an application that's not compatible with the newer versions of SQL or Windows. But maybe you may be in a process of doing an upgrade. Maybe you might be in a process of still evaluating which software package you're going to move to next that will support the latest operating system. Maybe you might be making a move to the cloud to a managed platform. Either way, Microsoft has offered a path that can give you a way to extend your security updates for an additional 3 years. If you migrate your workloads to Azure, Microsoft's cloud platform, Microsoft is offering free extended security updates for Windows Server 2008 and 2008 R2 for 3 years after the deadline. And the same applies for SQL as well. There's also options if your software does support newer operating systems, that you can actually move to SQL database managed instances, which offers a version free option to move to the cloud. You can also upgrade Azure when you're ready. You can transform your apps and data with Azure services. The second option is upgrading your on-premise environment if you're maintaining servers on-premise to Windows Server 2016 or 2019, which will bring you under mainstream support. And SQL Server 2017, bringing your databases under mainstream support. If you can't meet the deadline, if you're under an enterprise agreement with Microsoft, you have an additional option that you can purchase 3 more years of security updates. If you are looking to make the move to the cloud, Microsoft's Azure cloud is available in 54 regions worldwide, and it's available in 140 countries. Azure gives you the ability to scale globally, reaching more locations faster with performance and reliability of a vast global infrastructure. There are many advantages to moving to the cloud because you can also safeguard your data. Microsoft has many safeguards in their facilities that are protected by industry-leading physical security systems, and they're compliant with a comprehensive portfolio of standards and regulations. In Australia, in particularly, there are 2 data centers in Australia East and Australia Southeast, which are available for use today. Australia Central is available for the government and other special public sector customers as well. So if you're looking to move to Azure, some of the benefits of migrating your apps to the cloud, as we mentioned earlier, are that you get extended security updates for Windows Server and SQL for an additional 3 years after the current deadline. So this will bring you a lot of benefit and give you the time that you may need to evaluate where you're moving next with your business across the various applications within your space, and whether you look to upgrade your infrastructure on-premise or just ultimately move all your workloads to the cloud. You can take advantage of Microsoft's database managed instances, and ultimately that keeps you on the latest platform of the SQL Server for pretty much the future to come. There's also an ability to take advantage of a hybrid benefit in Azure. If you're running software assurance on your existing licenses for Windows Server and SQL, you can save yourself up to 55% on Azure. So this gives you the ability to put your workloads in the cloud and save a considerable cost as well. One of the things I want to offer to you today as part of this session is a special offer. For any customers that are looking to make a complement or make a change to the cloud, if you're looking to upgrade your on-premise infrastructure, we're offering a complimentary health check for attendees who have taken the time to attend today as a thank you. Please reach out to me and talk to me, and I'll be happy to arrange that for you. We also have teams that are specialized in looking at Azure assessments and services that can be able to, look at how we can migrate your workloads to the cloud and be able to offer services for you within the cloud space. We have teams dedicated and specialized to the cloud. On-premise infrastructure upgrades, we can also help you there as well. We have dedicated systems team members here across Australia and beyond that can help you with your infrastructure. So please feel free to reach out to me, and we'll be able to help you along this journey of ensuring that you stay compliant within the life cycle of Microsoft and also within just the cloud as well to that journey. So I want to thank everybody for your time, and I want to open the floor up for questions and answers. And I did notice during the webinar, there were a few questions that actually came through, which is great. So I'll definitely start with these questions. And ultimately, if you have any other questions, please feel free to use the question and answer panel on your GoToMeeting, and we'll also take those questions as well. So the first question that came up in the early part of the webinar was, once a product is after end of service, do I have access to Microsoft support? So the answer to that is no. At this stage, if end of service has happened, you do not have access to security updates, security hotfixes. There is no option for free or paid assistance with Microsoft. So pretty much once it runs out of that life cycle, they pretty much close off all free or paid support when it comes to that product. So it'll be important when you're looking at, in this case, let's say Windows Server 2008 or SQL Server 2008, to be able to figure out if you move that workload to the cloud, then you'll get additional free and paid support for another few years. Or ultimately look to upgrade your on-premise environment to the newer operating system, newer database server, and then we can, you can still get access to support with Microsoft at that stage. The second question I have here is to confirm if I migrate my legacy application to Azure, I can run on Windows Server 2008 and Microsoft will continue to support for additional time. Yes, that's correct. Microsoft will pretty much provide you an additional 3 years, and that gives you the ability to take some additional time to review your workloads and be able to see, where's the next step in the journey as far as, whether you're going to upgrade your operating systems or the database server, or, ultimately do something else with your infrastructure on-prem.